Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday morning mastermind with daily refinement. And we do this Monday through Friday every day, but on Wednesdays we do it live on YouTube. I'm pretty jazzed. Yesterday, I went to the Goodwill bins for the first time in many years. After I discovered the flea market, I decided I'm not going to go to the Goodwill bins anymore because the flea market is the feeder for the Goodwill bins. So people shop all week at the Goodwill bins, and then they go to the flea market and they sell it on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And in where I live, there are also 7 day flea markets that go. So I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna let the people at the flea market buy all this stuff, and I'm just gonna cherry pick at the flea market. Yesterday when I went, it absolutely blew my mind. It is not like it used to be. It is way more organized. So the one I used to go to in Millbrae is no longer there. They upgraded it. I'm gonna go there either this week or next week and look at it, but I assume it's gonna look like the one I went to yesterday, where it is way, way, way more specialized. Things are way more sorted. So let's say Kelly was selling plush, Harry was selling instruments, Melanie was selling books, Lauren was selling clothing, Kevin was selling shoes. All of those are sectioned out. It's actually designed for commercial selling. It's like not like before where everything was on a dirty table and then you just fight for your life, right? I even got in trouble talking about how aggressive it was and like I didn't want to do that. I'm like, I'll just, I'm not going to do that. And then I had Brandon come visit me maybe 2 weeks ago, and he said, I don't want to go to the bins. It's so competitive and it's just different. I would rather go thrifting. So then I went thrifting with him, and I was like, I don't know if thrifting works because everything is like 8, 10, 12, 16, $20. Shoes are $25. There were some shoes that were $40. I'm like, this is very challenging. The 8 and the 30 is more like 20 and the 60, 30 into 100. Maybe it's the more consignment model. Today I'm going to 3 consignment shops. So yesterday for our experiment, I had Les bring 50 of her own items from home that she wanted to resell. I looked at all 50 of the items. She paid around $600 for them. Skirts, jeans, shoes over the years, right? I told her that the market value she could expect to get from that money is less than 50. She spent 600 on it. In the world now, reselling it would be worth like $50. Just not worth anything. There's too much competition. Like you can buy brand new stuff from Temu, Shein, Fashion Nova for like $8 free shipping. The items that she bought, right, are not high enough to get resale value that's decent. Like they're not Patagonia, they're not North Face, they're just normal brands, right? So the brands are okay. Like here's an example. She has a Farm Rio dress, which is really nice. MSRP is like $500, but it's size extra small. It's been worn, had some damage. I'm like, I don't even know if you could sell this at all because there's other Farm Rio available online that's not damaged and discounted heavily, especially size extra small. So the resale value of her stuff is probably like $50. And I'm talking about like in her pocket. She'd probably sell for 100. And I was like, we don't have time to wait 2 years for your items to sell for $12. These items are worth like right now, probably worth $1 to $5 each. So today we're gonna go to some consignment shops and see if she can get that $50 now. Mega's saying in the chat that she's crushed her friends' souls when she tells them the resale value. It's true because if you buy also the Farm Rio dress, this is the crazy part, $500, she paid 29 for it. It's not like she paid 500 for it. The inflated $500 MSRP. I'm sure like Gwyneth Paltrow pays $500, but not us, not normal people. So we looked at those items. We're gonna go to some consignment shops, which I learned about a lot more of them at the bins yesterday. I got recognized, which is very weird because I haven't been in the game in a long time. I met two 18-year-old kids. This was epic. Their goal was 6,000 a day. I was like, oh my God, I have not heard goals like that in a long time. How? Why? They're like, oh, we watched your videos in the warehouse space that you were at in Hayward, and we decided we're going to get one together, the two of us. And they go to the bins 7 days a week, and then they go to, I'm going to copy them. They're 18 years old. So what they do is they shop in the morning. The bins open really early here, 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, even. They get all their stuff. They go to all the consignment shops in the Bay Area and see if they can flip their money and get their money back. They list the rest on eBay. They're like around 15,000 items. We should both make 3,000 each, which is $1 million each. They're both 18, right? They're like, we'll just get to our 15,000 item store. We know what to buy, and we're playing with house money, which is also something I talk about because they get their money back the same day. They go to the consignment shops right after and try to get their money back that they spent at the bins. They want their 15,000 item store to be free. And this is also crazy. They both commuted 40 minutes to the bins. Okay. That's not that close. It's kind of a commute. So they're commuting 40 minutes a day one way. And I was like, you guys are putting in more effort, not people in this group, but compared to the average reseller that does $2,000 a month, you guys are doing more work per week than they do the whole year. They're really working. It's like it was really cool. They were doing so the goal was 6,000 a day eventually, and they get their money back the same day. They knew all the consignment shops. This is the part that this is why most people won't make it. They won't know all the nuances of Goodwill. When I went with Les yesterday, she didn't know because she has zero resale experience. She doesn't know when they open. She doesn't know when they close. She doesn't know what days are better. She doesn't know how things are sorted. She doesn't know anybody that works there. There's no information. Versus the people that are buying for the flea market on Saturday and Sunday, they know everyone. They know what where the good stuff is. They know when it comes in. They know what days are better, what hours are better. They know that Mauricio on takes Tuesdays off, so those days they don't have sorting. So those days it's better. They know all these things because when I talked to these kids, they had so much insider knowledge that I was like, no wonder everybody else can't do anything. They don't know. They don't know what days to go or what to buy. These guys know what day to go and what to buy. It's like a completely different. I was like, what's your best find? They're like, they both found something worth $700 sold on eBay this year. That's awesome. The items at the bins cost less than $2, right? So I went there, right? And I was like, they're like, oh, are you gonna stay and go through the bins? I'm like, no, I already know what's gonna happen. So the bins, this is way more advanced than when I used to go. Every like 45 minutes to an hour, they rotate the bins out at the one I went to yesterday. That's pretty fast. Like if you were on it, you could look through every single piece the whole day because they're rotating it so often. And it's like when the last time that I went, they didn't rotate it as often. So when it came, it was like a mad free for all trying to get it. So I imagine over time, the people at Goodwill are pretty good at understanding customer demand. So I think that they're giving a better customer experience because they're rotating the bins more often. And then the things that squish them into bales, they had four of those right there. It was really efficient. So basically, you go there, they rotate through the bins. I don't know how many times, but I bet the 18-year-old kids know how many times. Rotates through those, right? Then when it doesn't sell, they put it into bales and it goes overseas. It was so freaking efficient. I was blown away. I actually said this is bougie for me. This like this version of the bins I went to is bougie. And it is in the worst neighborhood in where I live. And I was just thinking, this is like these kids come here every day, risk getting shot. They're grinding. It's in the worst possible area of Oakland. It's in East Oakland. Um, and they just get it. I was inspired. So it's way more segmented than before. Like everything is categorically split. So this is the part that was going to blow me away. I was Autumn. This is probably interesting for you, but I wanted my lady to start as an everything seller because that's what everybody keeps telling me that being an everything seller is awesome. I think it's less awesome now because everything is sorted. If you were going to be an everything seller, you have to spend like 20 minutes in each section, and I don't know if you would find anything. That's what I worry because like everything is separated, even in the thrift store. It was more dramatic yesterday seeing one giant area for clothing, one giant area for clothes or shoes, one giant area for books. In the thrift store, it's kind of all mushed together. So you can kind of like, Kelly could go coats, jackets, sweaters, books, ephemera, bric-a-brac, all in a row. But here you'd have to walk to like a different area. So I don't know if you could be an everything seller. It would take too long. There's just too many areas to walk to. And it's not set up for individual buying. It's set so like I don't know if you guys have this at your bins. In my bins, it's way cheaper if you buy more. Way cheaper. It's like a half the price. So, but I don't know if normal people notice that. Do they go and they're like it's the same price for twice as much stuff because they want you to take twice as much stuff. There's so much stuff there. They'd rather you take 40 pounds of stuff than 20 pounds of stuff. They literally don't even charge you more. They want you to take it. Um, it was, I think it's $2 a square, $2 a pound, then 150 a pound, and like 125 a pound if you buy a lot. But anyway, it was just when I went there, I was like, okay, if you look at this sign, doesn't it just tell you so much about reselling? Because um my first question was, how do people get this much stuff out of here? Like you show up, there's no carts. It's just like people bringing in blue IKEA bags and filling it up, and then like you got to make sure people don't steal your stuff on the side. It's like a I don't know. It was just eye-opening because it was way easier and way harder than it used to be. Easier and like if you're looking for one thing, it's all in one place. Way harder is in like there was a lot of people there that knew what they were doing. And also a significant amount of people who are just looking to buy for themselves, which is cool. So like I wonder if like you really are down on your luck and you're just trying to get clothes for your family, if the Goodwill bins isn't the greatest place on earth because you get stuff for your family for $20. Becky's is 169 no matter how much you buy. You take a big Amazon tote. I love it. Yeah, the Amazon tote's fantastic. And the Amazon tote also has a zip top. So you can zip it shut, which is useful at the bins. I think if you left something on top, it would get taken. But I was inspired, so I went there. I saw one rotation. I talked to a bunch of people that work there, and I was like, "What is it?" I don't know if people even ask this. I was like, "How does it work?" The guy's like, "Oh, it depends. Are you a flea market seller or an eBay seller?" I'm like, "Oh my God, this is wild." And he's like, "Oh yeah, if you're a flea market seller, you probably come here during the week, get whatever your stuff, you go sell it at your markets. If you're an eBay seller, I recommend coming on the weekend because the flea market people aren't here because they're savage." It's true, right? If you were gonna try and like not stand next to a savage, you go when they don't go. So I learned a lot. It was very interesting talking to the people that work there. And I wonder how many people go there every day and don't look around and look at how things are written. Like one of the reasons why I picked Les is she speaks Spanish. And in my flea market, it's heavily Hispanic. It would help. I tell you guys that my stuff has Chino written on it. And at the Goodwill bins, this is so obvious to me now. I don't know if it's because in my old age I notice things. There are signs at the Goodwill bins that are only in Spanish. Why is that? I find that hilarious. They have different signage for different people there. And I was
especially in
like, this
California.
is this is like so on point. Like if you notice all these things while you're there, you're gonna have a much easier time than people who don't notice what's really happening at Goodwill. Melanie says Sunday afternoon is the best at her bins. I love it. Don't tell anyone. Amy says she has no idea how she was charged. The receipt says 44 pounds and her total was $40. Um, so at my Goodwill bins, I'm gonna call it my Goodwill bins, even though I went there once in 2 years. Um, they charge different prices for different grade of shoes. I don't know if you guys have that. At my Goodwill, it's not flat pricing. Some they even have non-paired shoes that are even cheaper. That's how segmented it is. Like you don't if you're good with two shoes that don't match, we have a bin for you. That bin over there, those shoes don't match. Wow, only $1 for Amy. They went as high as 4 on ours. Sunday afternoon at yours is busy. The people that work during the weekend and shop the bins for their side hustle on the weekend. I love it. But I was impressed at how different it was. I was like, man, I think the Goodwill CEO needs a raise. It's like some
No, he does not. And what'd you find? Like, what was good that you found? I want to hear what you found.
oh,
Anything
so
fun?
she found
Oh, she.
so we went over I went over her haul. She only found two items because I told her that okay, this is something that I wanted to point out to her. So lesson number one, I was like, at the bins, most of the items are going to be $2 or less, right? So according to our model of like, you have to make enough money to buy one item and put money in the bank. That model, it works on a really small scale in a sense of like, if you buy for two and you sell for $8 or more, you would make $5 profit. And that would be you can now buy two items and put $1 in the bank. That would take you 5 centuries to reach your goal, but at least it follows the basic principles. And I was like, you need to try to find something that's $8 or more. And let's see. So she found a vintage Fila shirt, which I think was only worth $3. It was cool though, made in USA, great graphic. But she was like, how can this only be worth $3? And I'm like, because it's not good enough. It's okay. It's cool. It's made in USA. The tag is cool. The graphic is okay. It's just that there are a million other shirts that are that are definitely worth 8 or more, and this is not one of them. You could buy it, and we can go on my stream, and I'll show you how hard it is. We'll go to my whatnot stream, and I'll show you the market demand for the shirt. And we couldn't sell it yesterday for $3, and it was a cool shirt. It's just there's just so many other more cool shirts. Then she found a One Piece shirt. One Piece is trending. It was cool. It was a collaboration with um, Vans, and we looked it up. I mean, this shirt's selling for $3.99 plus shipping on eBay, and there's a bajillion of them. Just a mass-produced T-shirt. Cool, excellent condition, but also size small. So we didn't find anything yesterday. No haul on them because that's what was interesting because like I think people are sad not buying anything, so they just pick up a couple of things, and those are two pieces that you definitely would try and pick up. But like,
This is what people do. This is,
this is
we
what
try
people
to,
do.
I've done it. I'm guilty of that before.
Yeah,
Just
they
get
pick
what
it
you
up.
can. And
They
it's
just don't
not
want to
good
leave with
stuff.
they don't want to leave with nothing, right? So when I got there, it was before the first rotation. So we looked. She found those two pieces. They were kind of cool. Um, um, and then a whole bunch of things happened because I went through her haul, and her haul of her clothes. Most of those clothes don't fit. They're too small. And what I noticed was, well, we noticed this together. Her clothes and the clothes of the Goodwill bins were shockingly similar in a sense that the ones of the bins still smelled like fresh laundry. Like they just were too small. I think a lot of the stuff that you find at thrift stores and flea markets is not trash like people think. I think it's like too small. I think people just they grow out of their clothes and they want new clothes and they donate their old ones. Like I think people are not like they're kind of poo-pooing how quote unquote gross the bins is, but I didn't have that experience. It was exactly like the flea market and thrifting. It's mostly laundered clothing, honestly. I mean, like she started working out and they don't fit anymore. Or you had a really fun holiday season and now they don't fit anymore. Harry says, so many seem to have value. Yeah, a lot of items that have value don't have resale value. So Carrie says her bins don't smell like fresh laundry. Mine didn't used to smell like fresh laundry, but in the clothing section does. The other areas do not. And I wonder how much sorting um, has been done. So, okay, yesterday, I'm so glad I went out into the field. It was so nice doing stuff in person. And I did the live with her yesterday in person, and we recorded the first podcast in person. It was nice. It's like a nice change of pace to talk to people in person. So then after I talked to her, she was like, "What does your day look like?" I'm like, "I'm going to let's see. I'm going to finish the photo setup for your pictures, which we're going to start taking pictures this week for her items. Um, I'm hoping that of the 50 items that she brought, I'm hoping 45 of them we can sell to consignment shop, and we can sell the best 5 items on eBay Poshmark. So I'm like, I'm going to set up your photo station, and I'm going to talk to a new supplier because my main focus is I want to talk to suppliers. So her goal was to finalize a username, and she's going to sign up for an eBay account, screen record it. I'll go through all of that with her. I'm thinking about potentially delaying the experiment 2 months so that like not like don't share her username for 2 months is what I mean. So like it's not as people bitch less online. So like maybe don't share her username for a couple months. But anyway, when I was talking to the supplier, it also kind of blew my mind. So I was like, hey, I'm kind of tired of looking for stuff every week. Because you're a supplier. Do you have any relationships? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel where, like, a company and they give you their stuff every year and you don't have to do what I've been doing for 7 years, which is like find new stuff every week? And he said something that kind of made me feel better and worse at the same time. He said, yes, you will be able to eventually get a contract with a company and they will give you their goods forever. However, it's not what you think it is. It's not a golden goose that lays eggs every quarter or every season. You don't know what you're going to get. You have to buy it even if it's bad. So if you have an agreement, if Lauren strikes up an agreement with her local consignment shops. And they're like, okay, Lauren, at the end of every 90 days, we have items that we're going to sell to you for $100 flat. Okay. Normally we would donate it or contact the original owner, but we now put in our contract that if it doesn't sell in 90 days, we get it for free. So our staff is so at that time, you have to come and pick up all of the inventory for $100. You have to take all of it. She pays the $100 no matter what it is. That's the part of having a supply contract that the guy was saying is hard. You don't know what you're getting. You might be guaranteed supply, but it's not like your profit margins. It's going to be more like what you're doing now, which is evaluating every deal individually and see if it makes sense or not. So he's like, I watch your YouTube videos. You sold the Amazon returns. Kudos for you doing that. What was your experience? I was like, it's really hard. It was like 70% expired food. I paid in total $900 to take the junk to the dump that I couldn't donate, couldn't give to a food shelter, whatever. The stuff that ended up at the end cost me $900 to dispose. We did sell it quickly, but it took an insane amount of processing. And he's like, okay, the Amazon returns, by the time you receive them, I think it had been filtered already 8 times. Amazon themselves, they go through all the returns now. Used to not be like that. Used to be Amazon would sell to a broker, a broker would cherry pick some stuff, sell it to everybody else. Now, manufacturers are becoming more and more savvy, Amazon too. They pull out all their good items, they give people the scraps. People take the scraps, take out the best of the scraps, give people the worst of the scraps. It's becoming more and more and more mature. So, like, pretty much if you're not getting it directly from the source, it's going to be very difficult for it to work. Jamie, what do you want me to share? Oh, the username. Yeah, yeah, I will. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to share it because I'd rather just people watch than um, who cares if other people buy a few things from her. It's not going to make that big of a difference in the long run. Um, I'll think about how to share it. Lauren says she went to a local fill a bag sale at a consignment shop, 10 bids, open top, $25 a bag. Yes, I think if you do the fill a bag or the end of the season, or just you can get it directly from the person once a quarter, once or twice a year, anything like that. Super useful.
Yeah, and I was thinking like if you're establishing that relationship, like if they're gonna sell it I think I bought 19 items, so my average cost was just under $4 per piece. And it's like if they're gonna sell it for that, then they would probably sell it to you for twice that, like and
Mhm.
give you privileges to shop early if you have that relationship established and stuff. So it's interesting you brought that up because I was like, oh, I was just thinking about that.
Mhm. They
Um,
will sell you because for all of these shops, companies, space is a premium. They will almost sell you twice as much stuff for the same price. Okay, the first time I went to the Goodwill bins for this, the guy told me, um, buy one pallet for $60, buy seven for $120. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you can get seven pallets for 120 or one pallet for 60. And I'm like, how does that even work? He's like, well, to us, it's the same amount of work to get these pallets ready for you as it is for one. So like it costs us the same, right? And if you take more, you're actually helping us. Um we want people to buy as much as possible. And I was like, that is an interesting concept. But I noticed that yesterday as well. They really, really, really like bulk buyers. And so like space is just such a premium. It wouldn't surprise me if a consignment shop worked out a deal where, or any kind of store to get rid of their stuff because it's just so expensive to keep it in the back room under a blanket. Like that doesn't do anything for them. And so also I really like after talking to her in person, this is so weird. I was like, I'm so glad that I only have to hang out with you for 6 months. Not that there's any problem with you. You're cool, but like I want you to just be able to do this on your own in 6 months. I love it. Let's just get to the point where you can fly on your own, and then I'm done. I don't have. It's not like a. I like long term things with long term people, but I want to show you how to do it, and then because I'm not interested in like we're not. This is not forever. This is just 6 months. Let's figure out how to get it all set up, and then I'm excited. And her her mentality from day one is I want to do this myself. And that's what I want for people to do listening to my YouTube channel. And um, the whole point is that use it as a framework or inspiration to get your own system set up. So I'm excited to see what she does. And it is really sad, Meg, that her stuff is only worth $50 because it's like some of it's good. There's some Reformation stuff. She has some designer things. It's just that she used to be a size extra small. Now she's a size small. Extra small doesn't, it's just so hard. And I'm like, the only reason is, I mean, like, you have to be either a teenager or like basically a teenager to wear extra small. If you're looking at the demographics, and she was when she wore it. So like, just different.
I was thinking about that, Chris, recently with like extra small. Like, does it, is there anything to like thinking about this person, like an extra small person? What type of clothing is a person who is an extra small going to wear? And I'm kind of can think about myself too as self-referencing when I was like an extra small, you're wearing
Mm.
like really tight fitting stuff
Yeah.
because you it's kind of like the opposite of the plus size. Like a plus size, I feel like you want things that are like flowy and oversized that will
Yep.
be that sounds I'm not trying to be
Sizest.
yes, thank you. I was
Yeah.
like as the words are coming out of my mouth, it sounds
Yep.
like it's spinning a certain way, but really I'm trying to frame it just in like thinking about the customer and like what does that customer want? So do you think like what pieces will sell in an extra small like tight fitting or but then I'm thinking about your girl that did the oversized sweatshirts and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is
Okay.
that is there something in extra small that would move for that customer base that wouldn't move in like a medium or a large or beyond?
Yes. So it's interesting because I have a lot of women that work for me. all the way from size 5.5 shoe, extra small. I have one extra small employee, all the way to size 14, right? In this, and it's interesting, right? So I have the full range, but not the full range, but like a large range. And then there are certain styles they both wear. Okay, so it is odd because the extra small generally is smaller and more form fitting, right? But like an oversized crop sweatshirt, every single demographic wears. That's like a staple. That's like everybody. So when I was talking to Asha, is my extra small, she's like, it's a little weird being an extra small because I sort of expect 95% off because it's just not, those don't sell. I can go to the store, the clearance rack is all my size, right? I'm expecting like it's a $500, 25 for me because there's no market, right? And then the people who work for me who are size medium and large, it's the hardest to get a good deal. Just so like the bell curve of what they produce and the sizing, but the oversized sweatshirt, athleisure, sweaters, pants. I was talking to eBay Princess. She's pretty on trend. She was like, yeah, right now what's in is what people wear for work from home. She only buys that pajamas, oversized sweaters, and an extra small can wear a medium sweater, no problem. So it's like a it's just interesting that she would pick like she picks third party loungewear even. So as an example, she would rather pick a size large pajama set that no one has heard of than an extra small Ralph Ralph Lauren pajama set because the large generic one has more potential customers. So it is really interesting how, and like the way the style goes. I remember one time I sent Tech a picture of a sweater and I sold it, right? And he's like, dude, I can't believe you sold that sweater. It's so out of style. And he was so right. It was like he's and I was like, some even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, right? It was like so lucky. It was like the totally wrong, not in style, wrong size, still sold. And that just inspired me that even though there is people who are looking for extra small, just gotta make sure you buy it right. Harry says, wouldn't extra small sell better on Depop? Yes. My Les has never sold anything on eBay or Poshmark, only Depop. And then we were going over that. Like Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, much easier to list. eBay, much more difficult to list, but much larger audience. So if excess customers are primarily teenagers, why even pick up that size? It's difficult. If I were gonna pick who to sell stuff to on eBay, it would be 18 to 24-year-old men and 35-year-old men and over. So 18 to 25, 35 and over for men, and women, I'd probably go 35 and older as my main demographic on eBay. And that's a lot of the stuff that you find at the thrift. If you're looking for really trendy stuff for women under 35, I probably, it's just different. eBay, the audience is different. Like a lot of 35 and under trendier women will shop in person to get the right fit. Um, we had a lady in the group that used to only sell free people dresses. So she shopped the Final Cut in Connecticut. So there's a Final Cut in Connecticut and one in Georgia where they sell free people only, the closeouts, and that her average sale price was 200 and she sold maybe 8 dresses a week. Not a ton of volume, but she made really good money. And Catherine, she would buy extra small. Extra small free people is safer than extra small Nike. Becky says her teenage niece only buys on Poshmark. It was weird looking at Les's Poshmark account because only purchases, no sales, not even one item listed. Yeah, you can buy extra small. It's going to take a long time to sell generally. And that was kind of the problem with that. Meg, that's one of the reasons why I gave her such a low price for the resale value. Because I'm like, let's take a pair of Reformation shorts, really good brand, denim shorts, really good category. Also, it's summer. Reformation shorts, really good, but extra small, that makes it harder. So like maybe it's worth 50 to $80 in a size large. Extra small though, I don't know. Nice, Becky. So she says that Final Cut in Georgia is closed. I also heard that towards the end it was only furniture. So it is what it is. I can't believe how much of a moving target this is. It's crazy. You don't go somewhere for a couple of years, it's completely different. You know, there used to be a really good flip locally here. Pottery Barn had an outlet and now it's closed. But like Pottery Barn is the same company as West Elm, and you can go get a $3,000 couch for $100 and restore it because it was damaged during shipping and then flip it for 1,000. There's like actually a pretty good amount of couch flipping content on eBay. You can flip couches and do pretty good because especially now with so much furniture being delivered online, if it gets damaged, people don't buy it and it goes into some warehouse and sits there. We bought our couch for $100. It's a $3,500 couch. It was missing the legs. So Keith had to go on the eBay and buy the legs for $80. I paid $100 for the couch, paid $80 for the legs, and then I was like, "Are you serious?" And I went on the Etsy, and people were selling the legs. They were 3D printing the legs, right, for about $40. And I was like, "That is a cool business." Because like how many people have one broken leg on their couch? A lot. That's a really good business. So I was surprised at how expensive hardware is. So it's like you could in theory, all of the broken furniture at Goodwill is not worth much. You could take the hardware off of it, probably make an okay business if you specialized in that. But I didn't have the vision. When we were there, my wife was like, "That is such a nice couch." And I'm like, "That couch is not nice. It's on the floor. And how is that nice?" And then it looked really nice with legs on it and cleaned up a little bit, but it was damaged during shipping. So I'm just thinking, I don't know. There's so many different ways to save money and so many different hustles, and it's just really hard to not specialize. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I take stuff apart all the time. I buy things specifically that are assembled, and in the vintage category, especially, but not always the vintage category, and parted out because it's worth just so much more money. Especially vintage because, like if you got somebody got like an old, I know it sounds crazy, but they're still using their grandma's mixer or something, and they lose a beater or they break a mixing bowl. If I put the whole thing up, it'll sit there for like a year until somebody finally trips across it and wants it, where I can sell it for three times the price by parting everything out because somebody's bowl, the rotator on the bottom of the bowl quit spinning, on old vacuum cleaners. I've literally, there's crazy people out there, Chris. I have literally sold vacuum cleaner cords like off of old Hoovers and stuff because at the end of the cord where it plugs in, it will say the brand name like Hoover or whatever it is, and people who collect these things, yes, they collect vacuum cleaners. People do the parts. It's you make so much more money and actually turn the item so much quicker. Now you might have one or two parts stick around for a year, but they will sell eventually. But yeah, that was great. You was able to get the couch for $100 and then get the parts. I'm a parts
Well,
guy. I like selling parts.
that's how crazy it is. The parts were 80. Like it was That's just the couch is not worth anything. And it's so hard to sell because it's so bulky, right? So like how many resellers want to take home a couch? Right? But then like how many people would want to sell the hardware? Probably a lot. It's like makes a cheap hard instant pot she never used and sold it like that. That's really smart. Yeah, 100%. The microwave plate, people go to Goodwill and buy the microwave plate, and the staff's like, oh, you can just have that. And then they sell it for more than the microwave. Because people, you know, there's a sustainability part where you don't want to waste. Like, there are people who would rather buy a microwave plate for the same price as the microwave because they don't want to replace their microwave. They think that that's wasteful. Yeah, I
Or
think so.
like, or they're like me and would have to unmount it from the cabinet, and I sure as hell don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. If you don't want to unmount it from your built-in, then you would just buy the plate. Um, yeah, when I bought all my furniture, I bought all my furniture, Keith, used on eBay, and my contractor was like, "You're gonna redo your kitchen with used appliances?" And I was like, "Yes," because it's like I don't even know why they cost this much money. How can the refrigerator is like one refrigerator could be $6,000 new and $600 used. Like there's sometimes that big of a difference on something like that. And the one that we bought, it was because the person that bought that, I thought it was a scam. The person that bought the house didn't like it and just switched it out. Right. So you can get a deal like that if you just know. Um, Final cut. Yeah. Oh, that is interesting too. Have you guys noticed this in your area? At least in my area, it's happening a lot. A lot of restaurants and brick and mortars are changing locations. Not necessarily going out of business, but like established places are moving because their lease is different. So Becky is saying that they may reopen if they find another building. That's actually what happened to the store that I got my come up when I first started. It was called Jeremy's, and they couldn't find a new lease, and they just closed. So I don't know if that's going to become more of a thing. Commercial real estate prices are going to change dramatically in the next few years, and things are going to get shifted around.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, so with your lady, you're calling her Leslie, Les. So you've kind of had, so now you've had 2 days with her. You had the experiment in the bins. You saw what she had.
Mhm.
Um, so like, where are you gonna go from here for educating her on like learning what you saw experientially, like at the bins for the first time, the stuff that she was able to find or like the stuff that she picked. Do you feel like there was good stuff that she didn't know to pick at the bins?
100%.
Um, so how are you going to go about like educating her on like taking how she thinks now, what she picked, and like bridging that gap towards like learning things like the sizing, learning fabrics, learning the trends. I mean, maybe can you use your streams? I mean, could she observe like how things sell? I mean, I've not watched a whatnot stream, but I can
Yeah.
kind of imagine like could she watch a stream and see like the variance of like this size goes for $30 or maybe it's not that high. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking
So,
out loud, but like, how are you going to help bridge that gap to get her up to speed?
so this is my current plan. This is interesting because I was thinking about Becky's comment yesterday about how she can outwork any 20 something. So I got a lot of messages yesterday saying that she doesn't have grit and she won't be able to do it. She's too young and she won't be able to. She doesn't have enough. She hasn't been beat down enough to be able to have the grit to make it through running her own business. And I was like, can you condense that? Could I give her like three bad boyfriends, having to move somewhere, like some kind of financial hardship, a bunch of loved ones dying? Can I like give her a pill of
Lazy.
all those?
Yeah.
What?
Gets really ill and she's in the hospital.
Gets really ill. Could I just give her a pill so she knows all that so she can just get through this grind in the beginning? So okay, in the beginning, what I'm gonna do is since we're going to a place called Second Sale today, which I've never been to. Apparently, it's a trendy resale shop. So we're gonna go to the three consignment shops, and what I'm gonna try to do is learn what's on trend. Okay, so Jamie said the same thing. Jamie said in the chat she's not gonna make it, right? So we'll see. I'm gonna go to the consignment shops with her today, and we're gonna look at what's on trend. That's a little different though than good brands. So we're gonna go look because consignment shops will buy something that, like, she has a really cool Wilson's leather jacket that I think would do amazing at a consignment shop. It's like crocodile leather, but I don't know if that would sell well on eBay. It's just like you have to see it for to really appreciate it. So consignment shops first. Then I want to go to that mall that I went to a couple months ago. Um, and I want her to learn all the high resale brands. All the high resale brands are always the ones that are currently in the higher end places because people who can't afford that will go to eBay and get it. So I think she'll be fine. I think now it just made me realize that I don't think she can be an everything seller. I think she'll be fine. I know a lot of people said that she can't do it because she hasn't been beat down yet, but I've been beat down by life, and I don't think you need that to get through it.
Just to prove your point about the jacket, I like put that into Terapeak, and for the last year, one sold at $10.
See, I wouldn't, but I can almost guarantee it will sell at the consignment shop. They're gonna at least give her $5 for it, right? And that's also like kind of weird that you would go to the Goodwill bins, see a Wilson's leather jacket. It's kind of faux croc, very cool, right? And think, wow, somebody paid $150 for this or more, maybe 200 for it retail, right? And then you can't even sell it for $10 on eBay. I think
That's like what eBay should be named. Can't even sell it for $10 on eBay. That's eBay's real name. Because there's a lot of things that are high end, like all the cachet and all the other things, like the designer brands that we used to buy and get. They don't. It's none of that sells anymore.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of stuff won't sell for $10 on eBay. Maybe I should call a video of that. It's true, just true. Like most things, they're not going to be able to do it. So like I only hire people that generally that have food service experience. Her parents owned a taco truck. Her it's very unusual for me to meet somebody that um has really good financial habits. I would be surprised if she is not good at this because the she lives on less than half her income. Um, she's found some really, really good gigs. She's a substitute teacher. She has like so anyway, it was just she has a really good goal for what she wants to do, which is like she wants to help migrant workers. That's like her eventual career path that she wants to go to. But I don't know. She also understands that like if you do something for a long time, you can reap benefits because her parents are entrepreneurs. So you can see that trend. But I think she'll be fine. I don't feel like she's not going to finish the experiment. It's actually the brand part where yesterday we were researching beta brand together because I told her there are brands in the Bay Area that are like really popular here, but are not popular somewhere else. And I like the brand Beta Brand because it doesn't look like anything, but it sells really well, in my opinion. It sells well enough on eBay that you would pick it up at the bins, pretty much in any condition. We can look now, I guess. 12,000. Let's look at this. 1,800 sold, and I'm just gonna look. I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna look within 100 miles of where I live. So 1800. Okay.
This is interesting because I had it in my head that this was a good resale brand, and then whenever I comped two pieces, I found I didn't pick them, but I don't know if it was price point. I don't know if I comped it wrong.
It used to be amazing, and then I know that like most of it's not anymore, but I honestly didn't take the time to figure out which ones are still good.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like anything. Some still does well, some doesn't. Looks like the skirts do okay. But around here, it's pretty common and it doesn't look fancy. So this is an example of something that would 100% sell for at least a $10 profit if you bought it for $2. So even in this one is okay, but this is the logo, right? So it's pretty easy to find, in my opinion. Most Goodwills don't know. I guess they'll know now, so it's ruined. But um, we just need to find all of these things and then go. Yeah, I think as we go through all of the things, that's going to be the thing. I didn't see the entitlement that Jamie sees. I do see a lot of entitlement in the Bay Area, but she lives in a place with four other people. She only spends $100 a month on groceries. I mean, that's like very, very hard at that age to be that disciplined. So I think she'll be fine. Go, Jamie.
When I say entitlement, I think that anytime she's faced anything hard, that somebody's come to her rescue. That's what I see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think I hear you on that. That's like an interesting point. Um, I don't know. We'll see if she sinks or swims. Because I'm not going to, like, one of my favorite Netflix shows is Marie Kondo's show. And it's so different than an American version of a um, makeover. So like normally what would happen is Keith would get invited on the makeover show, right? And they would take off his hat, redo his hair, give him a new shirt, give his mustache some zhuzhing, right? And his wife wouldn't even recognize him, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, you were under all that before?" And then whatever, they would just totally transform him. But in the Marie Kondo show, she doesn't do that. She says, "Hey, this is what you need to do. I'll be back in 2 weeks." They have to do the work. She just tells them what to do. That's my favorite show. So I'm not going to hand her things. I'm going to have her do it. It doesn't matter how long it takes as long as she learns how to do it. So, but there's so many makeover shows with like your house a complete mess. We'll just throw it all away and give you a whole new house, but it'll just go back to the old version after a couple of years. That's what happens to people. They didn't fix it. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Melanie, to talk about my mindset. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of homework. So, but I think it's really, really important to go in person. After I went to Walmart, I think everyone that sells clothing needs to go to Walmart, Target, and Costco. If you go to Walmart, Costco, and Target, you'll be able to eliminate 80% of the clothing you find off the bat. You'll just know, oh, wow. Because you don't even know how many brands Target, Costco, and Walmart have. It's a lot. It's like 80% of them. Jamie, I don't know if she's going to be in the group or not. I don't know if she needs the group because it's just going to be, her goal is just to find 10 good items a day. Everything else is going to be really straightforward. We're going to use the Serena Williams photo method, white wall. We take measurements on the table. Yeah, Jamie. No, I don't think so. I think this group, a lot of it is the community part. The just getting the work done part, that you can learn that pretty quickly in the group. Hopefully, if people are listening, they know the structure. It's just in my opinion, reselling is mostly sourcing, mostly figuring out a good way to source. I guess that's true. It's a good idea for her to be in the group for advertising. That's a good idea. I'll see what her schedule is like in the morning. There's no cons to her being in the group other than it takes up her time. That's the only con. Because she could be sleeping right now, getting ready for the, I don't know what time she wakes up, but if she works 9 to 3 for 6 months, she probably would be successful. But the group, I guess she could go into the because yesterday she watched me write a title and she was like, oh, I'm I'm glad that you're helping me because I don't know how to write a title. Because that's like, that takes a lot of practice in the beginning. You don't buy Walmart to sell, but you do buy it for your family. 100%. It's weird though, because Walmart retail for clothing is still kind of expensive. It's like still $25 on average, in my opinion, at Walmart. If you caution everything. I mean, I average everything together. Yeah, that's a good one, Melanie and Carrie. I do think it's good advertising for the group. I guess my purpose is not, I mean, it should be to promote the group, but my main purpose is to just show that you can do it with no experience. But I am not confident about her doing it as an everything seller. That's the part that I really was thinking she could just sell anything, but now I'm a little worried because I feel like it's not designed that way. It's designed at Goodwill and the bins and the flea market to sell really well one thing. Keith?
Yeah, I would caution putting her in the group. I mean, I love the group, but and when somebody joins the group and comes in, it's a very warming atmosphere. Everybody wants to help everybody,
Yep.
but I don't know. It could turn cliquish on a kid. Because
Definitely.
in a sense that right now you're her teacher. She don't need 25 teachers. I mean, especially 25 people that are trying to learn from a teacher. So and trying to get our own shit together. So I think it might leave a bad taste in her mouth. It might taint her experience.
Yeah. Well, she'll probably, yeah, we'll might have her because it is interesting because at my work there is because my theme for 2024 is training, and looking at all the people that work for me, they don't consume any content currently. They just try to get better at their job every day. So everyone does have the same goal. The point, I guess, would be to try to get better at your job every day and then come to this morning call and share what's going on. That's true. I think that for her though, she seems pretty compartmentalized, which I think is good. Because the that's interesting. Because I kind of think the point of the group is to use my framework as reference. So it might be confusing to listen to other people's framework, or it might be enlightening. I don't know. I can see both sides of the coin. But for her, after going there yesterday, I thought Goodwill is a profit machine. That's my conclusion. After going to Goodwill yesterday, I was like, whoever is in charge here is trying to make as much money as possible, which seems obvious, right? That's what a business is supposed to do. But like, they really are there to help people who want to buy a lot easier. That's what they're there for. And I think that if you're a consignment shop, it's the same thing. Trying to get people to buy as much stuff as possible from you. If you are a mechanic, you're trying to fix as much stuff as possible. And for us, let's just try to sell as many things as possible. That's why we pick certain ways. But I did think about Becky in a sense that, like, for a parent who also has a job, a 16-hour day is just if you count the kids as work, which it is, not in a bad way, but like trying to teach your kids something, that's work. So that's like a 16-hour day is every day. So like doing a couple hours of work to learn something is nothing if you already have the ability to raise a kid. Um, so it is interesting, but I don't know if I can, you know, the one that really kills people is the bad partner. That's the most devastating thing that can happen to you. So that's why I was thinking 3 bad boyfriends in a row. Fast, 2 months, wreck her. Then after that, she can do anything. Right? Because that's just the worst. If you have a bad partner, it's like the worst thing ever. So that's why Warren Buffett says the key to being rich is picking a good partner. Because it just, you have your group goals together and you try to do them together. That's, pays off. But I don't know if I can give her that pain. Because I do have another worker that she's been complaining about her boyfriend. And I was like, do you look at it as like there's another guy out there that's way worse? Or do you think of it as like there's a better guy out there? I don't know. Because she told me about him and I'm like, he seems like pretty normal. I don't know about like, I think most guys are like the guy that you just described. Pain is perceived. You have to paint the picture of the pain. Huh. Meg says she has a list of bad partners for her. I love it. I'll get her set up.
And they're bad in all different ways too. I have a variety.
Ooh, I love it. Adversity helps because it gets you the grit to overcome things. A lot of people who are successful have had bad stuff happen to them. It's not the reason though that they're successful. It's just that maybe they can focus better because of it. So actually, let me back up. It's not going to be useful to give her 3 bad boyfriends in 6 months. It'll be more useful for her to just focus on getting good at reselling. Yeah.
So was this call better, Chris? Is this better, this interaction level?
It's good. I'm excited because like I'm inspired. I think that after going to the binge yesterday, I was thinking, okay, when I went to the when I went thrifting, I really was a bit concerned because I was like, I hope people are doing something different than just going to a couple random thrift stores a week. That does not work. That scared me because I was like, the prices are way higher than before. And it's basically a retail store. I don't know if you guys get that feeling, but it's like the mall.
It
You go,
is.
they try to
I
make it
mean,
look as nice as possible. It's not cheap.
it's not cheap out there. Things are $12.99.
No.
Like you said, t-shirts are $9.99.
Yeah, it's not. So that concerned me because I was like, uh-oh, this is like um literally finding a needle in the haystack. It's pretty hard. And I was able to do that. I did find a couple pieces, but like they still haven't sold. And I told Brandon I would never pick these up at this price. It's too hard. I paid 750 on average for shirts. That's so difficult to make a profit. Um, but then after going to the bins, now I'm like, okay, it is possible, like to do a, it is possible to be a hunter. Let me back up. You can do the thrift as well if you're a hunter. You just can't be an everything seller. You have to go in there and hunt and kill awesome prey and then leave. There's no way to go there and just casually find $10, $20 profit items. That's not a thing. You'd have to go in there with the knowledge of, I know only 6 different things of Beta Brand are worth it. I only know 6 different things of Citizens of Humanity are worth it. Levi's only work in this situation. Shoes only work if they're these sizes and these brands. Without that knowledge, you can't thrift your way to a full-time living anymore. But even just a few years ago for me, I'm not even from the golden ages of thrifting. I'm just from like a few years ago, and it was completely different. But now the bins is like a freaking enterprise. Like it's ready for you to go there and look. I told Carrie yesterday, the average person can now look through thousands of the same item. That is the part that blew my mind. Before you couldn't do that. You could look through thousands of items at the thrift store, but you're paying $10 an item. You're not looking through thousands of items and you can pay $2 an item. That's wild. That the Goodwill binge yesterday was more like the flea market. It was like an endless garage sale.
I've just become such a fan of the bins. I don't even go to the thrift stores anymore because if you go to the thrift stores,
Yeah,
a couple times a week, let's say, you're
yeah,
looking at some of the same clothes that you looked at 2 days before, three
I
days before.
know. It's just
When you go to the bins, it's all, new stuff. I go once a month, but and it's so much cheaper.
yeah, definitely. It just
I'm
blew
glad you
my
went
brain
though, because then
out.
you can help us with your perspective of going to the bins. If you go to the stores, because you hadn't been out in the wild in a long time like that, and
I
we're all out here
haven't.
sweating and crying, and
It,
that's
it,
why I'm
it
back
gets
at the bins, because I don't want to complain about prices and I don't want to not take offers.
So
And that's how you do it, is offset with the bins.
you know what Les asked me? She's like, okay, what do you look for when you're at the bins? Like, what are you looking at while we're here? And I was like, I'm looking at their hours and what time each week I would be here. That's really what I'm looking at. I don't care about finding something in the bins because I know I will find something in the bins if I come at the right time. Okay, so when we went there, I was already figuring out that people come at different times of the day because I was asking people like, and the vintage guys, right? Apparently they hang out there all day, though, and which makes total sense because that's the stereotype. So like um, they're coming at certain times. When I got there 8:11. There was already like a few hundred people there. So like there was a lot of different. I was planning my schedule. So she was like, "What are you looking for?" I'm like, "I'm basically planning your schedule. What hours are you going to be here looking for what things?" And I already know that like this is such a cheat code, the bins, that the thing is that is this is the biggest challenge. I feel like the majority of things she finds are only going to be $8. So this is the part where I don't think she can do grind mode. There's not enough space, there's not enough time. The only other way is if she could offset it a little bit with the local consignment shops. That would be the main key. Can we make a route that's efficient? She can go, let's say, 10 hours a week to the bins, 5 hours a week of consigning items, 15 hours a week of listing on eBay, shipping, all that stuff. That's what I'm working on. I know we're gonna run into the good items as long as we consistently go. I would love to source the consignment. And here's the big thing for consignment. The trade-in value is so much higher. That's the like I wanted to say that's the beans, but I don't think that's the term. So essentially, like you go to the bins, right? You buy your stuff that the local consignment shop wants, but eBay doesn't, right? So you can buy those items because people who are flipping online can't buy those items. You take those items, you go to the consignment shop, you trade them, you buy their North Face, put it on the eBay. Are you just like gaming the matrix? Have you won? Because you're taking the items that sell well at eBay from a consignment shop who can't sell them locally, and you're taking the consignment stuff from the bins who can't sell it to online sellers. Is that this crazy thing? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Russell?
Hey, Chris, now that you went back to the bins and you saw what was in them, what's your thoughts on buying bulk pallets from the bins and stuff like spe specifically clothes and shoes?
You gotta know what you're doing, but it's set up for that.
I guess I know that I understand that, but I guess the
Most of
question
the
should have been a little
most
more.
Oh, are you saying is my opinion changed about it?
No, no, I was just wondering because I've been looking at buying pallets of shoes from the bins,
Yep.
unsorted.
Mhm.
But then as I go to the bins and I see sort through 500 pairs of shoes and find 30 good ones,
Yep.
is it worth buying the whole pallet, you think, or
That is the question of the year. That's what Isaiah's been trying to figure out for so many years, right? So in in theory, I would say that a pallet of shoes, if you're getting the pallet of shoes at the Goodwill that I saw yesterday was $120. I don't know what you guys' prices are, but it was 120 for a price. Let me
How
just
did you get that price? You just walk in and ask?
let me look. It
Because
was
I don't know what a price of a pallet is, and I go to the Goodwill bins a lot. So did you
140.
ask the manager?
Well, okay, this is interesting. I'll show you.
Because the Goodwill bins acts like no one's the manager there. Fine. They're like, I don't know, we don't know. They don't answer any questions. If you ask a question, they'll kind of be mean to you. Because I asked one time, are you guys bringing out the same clothes, like in the same? Are you even? Because I could see the same sweater in each bin. I know what sweater I'm looking at. I look for the sweaters, and they kept bringing out the same sweater in the same bins, and they were like, "No, we bring out new bins every time." And I'm like, "Okay." Mm-hmm.
So I went, this is the sign I saw, but I had to walk behind a fence. It says
Whoa.
salvage RTW, that's ready to wear. $60. I don't know what outdate RTW means. Paired shoes is 140. Bags and accessories, I think, is 220. Books is 100. Media is 100. This is per pallet.
I never even seen a sign like that at my Goodwill bins.
I don't think you would see unless you walked in. Les has never seen it. She's been going for 2 years.
Look at you. You walk in one day and you're like, oh, there's the pallet sign.
I think salvage is like the stuff that got donated that they can't put in their store.